Hi, everybody. It's Reve Sinclair, and I'm coming to you today really briefly to introduce a new podcast episode on the Doula That podcast. So, some of you may or may not know that I am a co host on that podcast, and we have a really special episode that came out very recently that is specifically a warning for birth workers. I share in this episode a personal experience of having basically money taken from me from a fellow birth worker. And so this episode is a warning. We did this episode specifically to make sure that birth workers know the yellow flags and definitely the red flags to protect yourself when you are embarking on courses, investing in retreats and experiences with other birth workers. Because we're an unregulated industry, we don't always have the background on folks, especially if you're new to the birth world. You don't actually necessarily know how credible people are. And you might find yourself doing what parents are doing when they are hiring you. You might find yourself looking on Yelp or Google or going into social media spaces and asking people who is reliable. Unfortunately for me, this person who I invested in, she had a excellent looking social media presence, and people raved about some of the experiences that they had with her. The dark side of the birth world is that people can bully you if they are well liked and in a position of power. They have a way of silencing you. And I didn't learn until recently how bad it was with this particular person. This person actually didn't just take money from me that I'm waiting to get back, but they took money from a lot of people over about a 20-year time frame. And you want to know how I learned that? I learned it because we did the episode about my personal experience, and then people started commenting. And boy, did all the things come out of the woodwork. And so I'm even more shocked that I'm having this experience because I have been in the birth world for 20 years. And I know people. The difference about this person is she's a midwife, not a doula. And so I'm way less familiar with the midwifery world than I am the birth doula world. And so, yeah, I am kind of in an interesting scenario. And so I want to just share with you just a few yellow flags, red flags that might help you going forward. And then I'm going to leave the link for you to go check out the whole episode. Okay. So number one, ask folks about folks. That's one of the things you need to do. If you invest in an experience, whether it's a class, a retreat, a conference, get a receipt and get the contract, okay? If that is appropriate. So for me, I signed up for a retreat. I should have had access to a contract. And when I didn't, I should have pressed. And I know this because I set up retreat experiences and I didn't push back. Also, when the person goes silent after you sign up for something, if you don't get correspondence, a lot of connection, if they don't put you in a social group like Facebook group for the experience, or you don't get kind of hooked in right away to the content, that's another yellow flag or red flag. I would also say that when you pay for these experiences, do as much protection as you can for your finances. So, but pay for items on a credit card, preferably a business credit card, and pay for the insurance. Insure and protect yourself in case the trip gets canceled or the class gets canceled or you've paid up front and you don't get anything back. I think a yellow flag is everything being paid up front. I also, depending on the scenario or what the product is, you might want to negotiate paying half up front, getting your services, and then somewhere along the way, paying up. Again, that would entail or require a contract with the terms of service. I also would say, if let's say you find yourself, you've had a bad experience, find a space and a way that you can share your experience and sound the alarm. That's exactly what I did. And it's obviously making a huge splash for a number of birth workers who were suffering in silence. They were quiet. They're in the same boat as I am. Also, they were taken to the bank for a significant amount of money. And so, unfortunately, there are a lot of victims laying in this person's path. And if I had just had one person sound the alarm, I probably would never, not even probably, I would have never signed up for an experience with her. And so here I am doing what I most value is paying it forward, supporting other birth workers in being protected. So check out this episode of the Doula That podcast. Subscribe and sign up to listen. We have lots of tips, and we're going to be continuing to provide support to birth workers, not just doulas, but to birth workers in general. Over the next year, we're very excited for our next season to be coming up. And so I hope this episode really, really helps you. Check it out, y'all. Hi, everybody. It's Reve Sinclair, and I'm coming to you